I own a printing company that I run with my wife. Her cousin came to us and wanted us to do all the signage, banners, guest books, life-size cutouts, etc. for her wedding. We do this all the time for friends' weddings and events, and we never charge. We're happy to help out, and it's usually a lot of fun working together to make some cool stuff. A few weeks before the wedding, her wedding planner tells us that they need all the items by X date so they can set it up for the wedding. At this point, we hadn't received our wedding invitations and didn't even know when the actual wedding was. My wife texts her and tries to clarify when the wedding is and if we missed the invitation somehow. Her cousin replies and says, "Oh, we downsized the wedding and we decided to have like close friends and family thing, and they didn't have space for us in the small venue." My wife and I are pretty hurt and insulted, and on top of it, we've spent nearly $200 on all the materials. Her cousin and the wedding planner kept making tiny revisions to the artwork, had us print samples to see how it would look in person, resized several of the items a few times, etc. All that cost a ton of time and money, and we're a functioning business, so we either had to delay other orders or stay late and print our stuff out on our time. So I went ahead and billed her for our cost and said we needed payment before delivery because I'm not going to chase her for payment months or years after the wedding. So we're not making money on it, just charging her for the materials cost. So far, we've gotten threatening calls from the cousin, her fiance, some random members of my wife's family that I don't know, some of the groomsmen, etc., essentially calling us idiots for sending her the invoice. After the harassment, I'm considering charging full price, or else we won't deliver the items. Are we the idiots here? Sorry, but I'm not going to waste my hard-earned time and money on someone who doesn't consider us close friends and family. Sorry, we had to downsize the discount to cover close friends and family only. I say go ahead and charge full price. Their behavior is straight up tacky. They're close enough to ask for this work as a free favor, but not close enough to invite you to their wedding? Not the idiot. Exactly. Wedding gifts are from guests. They can't expect a wedding gift from people who didn't make the cut. Definitely not a $2,000 wedding present. Once you and your wife were cut, it became a business transaction, and you have every right to bill them and receive payment before delivery. They used you. Look at how much money they saved. $2,000 is not a typical wedding gift. They deliberately didn't tell you you weren't invited so that you'd do all that work for free. I get so mad at people like your cousin because they ruin it for everyone. Now you're going to have to write up contracts and invoices in case the next person screws you over, instead of just getting to do a nice thing for someone who's super appreciative of your hard work and kindness. Tell them if they keep up the threats, they won't be getting any of the materials either. If they don't consider you close enough to be at the wedding, you're not close enough to give them your work for free. What a bridezilla. And groomzilla too. Actually, sounds like a whole family of zillas, with the threatening calls from everyone. Oh man, your poor wife. And screw these people. That isn't family as they've made clear. So, background. I, 32 female, have a brother, Dave, 35, who's married to Sarah, 29 female. They don't have children yet. I have a son who's a toddler and an infant daughter with my husband, 39. My husband and I mostly live in Belgium, but we travel back to visit my family about once a month in England. At home, we both speak English and French to our children. My husband is Belgian, and right now my son is in this lovely phase where he'll sometimes mix up the two languages and say a couple of words in English in a French sentence or vice versa. This has never posed a problem to us, and even the staff at his nursery have reassured us that it's very common and they tend to grow out of it once they start school. My sister-in-law has decided that this is a problem, so when we're visiting my parents and she notices my son doing this, she'll correct him, but she does so rudely, whereas my husband and I will gently correct him. Anyway, we're visiting at the moment, and she's now decided that instead of correcting him, she'll start ignoring him when he does this. I noticed her doing it when we arrived, and I thought it was odd, but I assumed that maybe she was just stressed. Her job is quite intense. But it only became an issue yesterday. My husband was talking to my dad outside, and I was feeding my daughter in the other room, so I left Lewis with Sarah and Dave. When I came back downstairs, Lewis was crying, and I managed to understand that he tried to ask Sarah for a drink. He has a special cup that he uses that he was holding, so it was apparent what he meant, but that she just ignored him. I asked her why, and she explained that she wasn't going to reply to him unless he said the sentence correctly, and that I shouldn't be ignoring my son's obvious speech issues. For context, it's not that she didn't know what he wanted. Instead, she told me that she understood exactly what he was asking for, but that she was deliberately refusing because he hadn't asked correctly. This made me angry, but luckily my husband came inside at that moment and pulled me away so we could calm down and settle Lewis. That night at the dinner table, Sarah asked me to pass her something, but she said it in bad English. She is English, she asked for it in slang. Think, pass up the peas, will ya? I had a bit of an epiphany, and I just decided to ignore her. She asked again, and I did the same thing. My brother asked why I was ignoring his wife, and I said that I wasn't able to reply if she couldn't speak English correctly, and that it was wrong of him to ignore her obvious issues with grammar. Everyone's pretty angry with me, and I admit it was incredibly childish, but she was needlessly being an idiot to my baby. Should I just apologize? Am I the idiot? Edit. Sarah and the rest of my family only speak English, which I suppose goes some way toward explaining why she doesn't understand it. Not the idiot. I think it was a good way of making your point, actually. This was deliciously petty and spiteful. Your sister-in-law is the idiot here and deserves to be treated accordingly. Your son is 4. Of course he'll make a few grammatical and pronunciation errors. Gentle correction is the way to go, not ignoring the kid unless and until he gets the sentence right. How does he even know what's right unless the adults in his life tell him? I speak 3 languages and grew up learning them. At his age, I interspersed words of all the languages and got my lowest grade ever in nursery school because my nursery teacher was like Sarah. Years later, this behavior is considered normal for a child becoming fluent in multiple languages, and they do sort it out by the time they're school-aged. What's Sarah's excuse? I wouldn't apologize, given that she refused to help a child and made him cry, based on the same logic you're using, which is her logic. However, if she can't even meet her own standards, she has no business imposing them on a toddler. I, female 36, met my boyfriend 38 months ago. He waited to introduce me to his parents and decided that I'd meet them at his 36th birthday party that was held at their house. Not gonna lie, I was nervous about a number of things. I'm over 30 but can still get anxious. I'm an introvert, yay, around new people. We got to their house. There were more guests than I thought, like a lot more. When we sat down for dinner, his dad looked me over head to toe and said, "Oh wow, I thought you'd look a lot older than you do. You've still got a good 10 years of kitten left in you." I was shocked and completely baffled. The whole table went quiet, and I couldn't even look around me, but I knew they were staring at me awkwardly. My boyfriend and his dad were laughing hard. Finally, I got so overwhelmed that I excused myself, got up, took my stuff, and started making my way out. My boyfriend followed me while asking where I was going and why. I stood at the door and pointed out his dad's comment about my age. He said his dad is just like that, brutally honest, and tells it like it is, so I shouldn't take it personally. I told him it was personal because it felt like he was rating me and my functions as a human based on age. He was like, "Come on, do you always have to be so dramatic? Let it go. It was literally nothing." He told me to go back inside, but I decided to go home. He was livid. He sent angry texts talking about how disappointed he and his family were by how I walked out and disrespected them and gave them the wrong impression about me. He also said I ruined his birthday, overreacted to nothing, and should have laughed it off. He's demanding I reach out to his family with apologies and make it up to him. Am I the idiot? Did I overreact? Not the idiot. His dad called you a toy, an aging toy. In what world are you supposed to laugh that off? He disrespected you. You stood up for yourself and they didn't like that. They expected you to sit there and smile. That's absolute BS. The apple didn't fall far from the tree and you should throw it away. OP, you just found out why your boyfriend is still single at 38 and why his next girlfriend will be 20. His father harassed you and he's defending it. This would be a deal breaker for me, honestly. I'm so sorry you went through that. The rest of the table was embarrassed right along with you. Pay more attention to the fact that the only two laughing were your boyfriend and his dad. Sorry, OP. It looks like your boyfriend opted to emulate his daddy instead of taking the other adult examples at the table. Your boyfriend defended him. Your boyfriend thinks you owe his dad an apology. Your boyfriend sees nothing wrong with how his dad behaves towards other people. I'm surprised the rest of the family tolerates either of them, and nowhere is it written that you're obligated to put up with that rude crap. But that's just how he is? Oh, you mean he's an idiot? Got it. Boyfriend is also an idiot for not standing up for OP. Good grief. That's how it'll always be with his family. He thinks it's funny, so he'll be like this also. Yeah, I would break up and find someone more respectful. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years, and we live separately. He's 30 and lives with his parents. I'm 31 and live with my young child. We had our baby on September 14th. The baby shower was sometime in August. His aunt decided to throw a shower for him. She said it would be a male's version of a baby shower, men only, but that was a lie. She invited his mother, her daughter, his cousin, and herself, of course. She said I wasn't allowed to come. Why were these women there if it was a men-only baby shower? Also, that would only make sense if it were a bachelor party. I was carrying the baby and I wasn't allowed to be there. My boyfriend told me it was out of his control. I feel like he should have stood up for me and said that it didn't sound fair, that it should be a baby shower for the both of us. Every baby shower I've ever been to has always had both parents. Also, I didn't feel like he deserved a party, looking like he was the father of the year because he didn't even show up to many of my baby appointments, except for 2. One was when we found out the gender. It was on my birthday, but he had to leave shortly after the appointment because he was spending the day with his mom on my birthday. Also, they lived together. Another appointment he came to was a 3-hour glucose test, but he spent half of that appointment on the phone with his mother. Also, he wasn't there much for me during this pregnancy when I was throwing up or needed help lifting something. I had to do it primarily by myself. Again, we're together. Maybe this would make sense if we weren't together. He tells me that the baby shower wasn't out of spite, that it was supposed to be for guys only, except his mother, aunt, and cousin. Yet, I'm the mother. Not the idiot and big yikes. I wish you weren't linked to this man for the rest of your life because he's married to his mom and you're the other woman. Did your family and friends throw you a baby shower? Did he attend? Did his family attend? Where are all the items from his baby shower? At his mommy's house? Exactly. He and his mother are treating OP like an incubator for their baby. And it's not like this is a new relationship. They've been together for 4 years. If he hasn't been motivated to leave the nest by 30 with a girlfriend of 4 years and a baby on the way, he enjoys or doesn't mind not being self-sufficient. OP, they don't see you as a person worth their time, merely a vessel. Be prepared for more of the same. You are the idiot. Even if you think he's your boyfriend, no, he's not. He may be with you sometimes for whatever reasons, but it's not because he's your boyfriend. His family is his heart, not you. It would help if you started working with legal authorities or attorneys to get some child support paperwork in order and make sure you get legal custody. I can see his mommy pushing him for custody so she can be the mommy to this baby and not you. Your kid is watching this unfold, learning from you what a genuine relationship is. Do better. Set better examples for your child. How many ways must this man tell you you're his absolute lowest priority until you get the message and leave him? Never make a man tell you he doesn't want you more than once, and he's been screaming at you at least 100 times. You are the idiot for having this child with this man who doesn't respect you at all. Have fun co-parenting with his family for the rest of your life. I'm a father of 2 daughters, Bio, Chloe, tween female, and Hope, teen female, adopted. Their mother and I are separated. I remarried to my current wife, Jenna. After getting overwhelmed with busy work schedules, I asked Jenna to handle daily and weekly activities, including taking the girls to the mall and buying what they wanted. I always ensure my credit cards are full and ready, especially when she tells me what the girls need. I've realized recently that Chloe has bought quite a lot of stuff, but Hope hasn't. I tried speaking with her about it and asked if the mall her stepmom takes her to is not good, or if the stuff she finds there isn't nice. She refused to give a direct answer, so I didn't push it, but I let her know that I was always there to hear her out. After 5 days, I was at work, and Hope sent me a 37-minute long recording of her trip to the mall with her sister and stepmom. I listened to it after getting off work. What I heard was unexpected. Hope told her stepmom that she liked a backpack and wanted it, but Jenna's response was to tell her that there wasn't enough money. Hope insisted, saying that she, Jenna, had enough money, but Jenna told her she still had to buy stuff for her sister. Hope insisted, which made Jenna snap and tell her, "Why don't you go look for Bio Dad and ask him to buy it for you if you want it so badly?" I was shocked. I had to stop the recording. I couldn't keep listening because of how upset I was. I immediately rushed downstairs to Jenna and the girls and had the girls go upstairs, then went off on her about what I found out. She kept denying saying it, so I had her listen to the recording. She said she didn't mean it this way and that her words were obviously taken out of context. I scolded her for treating Hope like that and told her that she gets whatever she asked for, regardless of who her father is. I then revoked all access Jenna had to my credit cards, every single one of them. She found out and blew up, saying that I was being unfair after all she's done to help me out in this area. I said I didn't want to hear it, and she kept yelling and then went to stay with her sister. We haven't spoken to each other since that day. She keeps talking to Chloe though. Sister-in-law thinks that revoking her sister's access to credit cards is actually abuse. Honestly, this isn't a take away the credit card offense. This is a divorce her because she's cruel, and this isn't going to get better kind of offense. Get rid of her. She's treating your adopted daughter like she doesn't belong in your family. I think your wife is a profoundly unkind and cruel person. Why would you want her around your kids? Yeah, you shouldn't revoke her access to the cards. You should revoke her access to the kids. Your kid was treated this way so often that she knew she could record Jenna behaving this way, and insecure enough in her position that she felt she had to record it rather than just tell you. This indicates that she's been abused by Jenna for a long time. I hate to be one of those people, but you are the idiot if you stay with her. Listen to the entire recording. Literally, it was sent for a reason. Doesn't matter how difficult you find it. She sent you 37 minutes of recording for a reason. Listen to it. I don't see how a marriage can return from this though. Could you ever trust her around your daughter again, knowing how she's treated her? I wouldn't. At a bare minimum, there would be a lot of couples therapy, exploring her false and damaging beliefs about adoption, where they came from, and how to dismantle them. And even then, I'm unsure if I'd ever feel safe leaving her with Hope alone.